Life insurance seems like a simple enough concept. You make payments and your beneficiaries get a lump sum of money when you die. But there are many different options depending on your individual situation. Cesar Chacon is the owner of the Insurance Hub, and he is here to explain. Great to see you again.
It's good to see both of you.
Oh, I want to hear what you have to say. This is big in my life right now.
Well, and I feel like the question that we need to ask is, so there's differences. Linda's life insurance is different than my insurance policy, which might be different than yours. How do we know what's right for us?
Well, there's first of all, there's different types of insurance policies. There's a whole life, there's a universal life, there's a indexed universal life, there's a term life policy. So and then within those, there's different ways to cover different individuals based on businesses or whether they have kids or they're just starting out in life. It's a final expense type thing. So there's a lot of different insurance possibilities out there in the insurance world, including investments.
So I have to come to you and say, this is what I want to happen with this insurance policy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either I want it to bury me and pay my expenses, or I want my kids to get all the money.
Right. It's always an interesting when you get a call and say, hey, I want life insurance. So, is it for you? Is it for your kids? Is it for final expense? What is the purpose of that life insurance, right?
Okay, because so the first thing we have to know is the purpose. What do we want it to be used for?
What do you want to accomplish?
Okay.
Because everybody has a different something that they want to accomplish when it gets to life insurance. For example, if you have a young couple just starting out in life, do you want them really to spend a whole lot of money on whole life when they're just making ends meet? Or do you want them to get a policy for, say, $500,000 for $20 a month type of thing? So cost matters depending on age, and then as you get older, maybe you start looking at a retirement vehicle, and those are different things. We talked about annuities a little bit, which is a life insurance vehicle, and so everybody's situation is different, just like healthcare.
Can life insurance policies also be used, say, tax advantage-wise?
Yes, that's actually a very interesting conversation that could be had. One of the most interesting things that happened in our country is that our deficit is a huge deficit out there, right? So a lot of folks think the old way of thinking with 401ks and saving taxes today and so forth. But the truth is, if you look at what our deficit is today, it's 31 trillion or 30-some trillion or 5,500.
Right.
What do you think taxes are going to be like tomorrow as opposed to today? So I think a lot of pre-planning has to go into what's going to happen tomorrow versus what's happening today versus what's happening tomorrow.
So rather than sheltering taxes now, maybe look at it when it comes out.
I'm going through that. I'm taking stuff out, money out now, and paying taxes on it. Oh my goodness!
I'm telling you,
it's a shock.
Yeah, but there are ways to circumvent some of those things.
Where were you 20 years ago in my life?
You should have called me. I was right here. Was I right here? No.
So when we sit down with someone, what type of information should we be prepared to provide and discuss?
We go through a very simple questionnaire. Is it for something? We look at the age, and so we kind of base it on what are you looking for as far as age is concerned. I think one of the things that we don't do enough, if I could just share this, it's a very simple questionnaire, number one. But one of the things that we don't do as a population is we don't really think about that. I come from a very Hispanic culture, and when you talk about life insurance with your family members, oh, you just want to kill me, or you want to do this.
It's a tough conversation.
Yeah, it's a very tough conversation. It's one of those conversations that we have to have. We talk about in health, we talk about illness, we talk about death, and it's not a very fun conversation to have. But the truth is, if I could share with this one last thing with you, is when you go to church, when I go to church and the preacher's preaching, he's saying, hey, listen, he's praying, he's like praying for spiritual wellness, financial wellness, health and so forth. And then when somebody passes away, they're passing away around the offering plate. There's no pre-planning in a lot of these communities as to what to do with life insurance and retirement, and I think that those conversations need to be happening.
Yeah, it's a tough conversation, but I know, Linda, this is something that you work through with your family.
Well, it makes me feel so good to know it's handled. I've got that all taken care of.
You should call me 20 years ago.
Not too late. I've got another.
Well, and I think that's an important point to make, though. It's not too late even now. Linda is still adjusting her priorities and her investments.
Right. Everything changes as we get older. Priorities change, and so you're absolutely right.
And so does the world. world. Everything is different now.
Family situations change, so it's important to stay on top of it, and it's definitely important to have someone who's on top of the different options.
Absolutely.
And that is what Cesar is all about. So to have these important conversations with someone who knows how to help, you can find Cesar by going to theinsurancehub.net. We'll be right back.